It felt like that family started continuing to grow. And once I ended up working at Cascade Middle School, working with middle school students, and we started a program called Puente. And we ended up helping a lot of these Latino students and start teaching the same thing that what we did with Thurston. But now we have Thurston students teaching middle school students, and a lot of these students didn't even know Thurston was a school. So we had a lot of these students start teaching the classes, being what it means to be spiritually connected, what it means to be Chicano, Chicana, or Chicanx, and sharing their personal stories and struggles of what they had to go through, and showing that these students, these middle school students, are able to accomplish once they're able to go into high school. So we ended up starting a summer academy called Despierta Educate Leadership Academy, and it was powerful. The students, the day before we started the program, we built the curriculum. We had the high school students pick out things that they would like to learn and what they think the middle school students would want to be able to learn, as well as other high school students. So the high school students ended up calling other students to invite them to the summer program, but we didn't get a huge outcome. I think we only got 5 students, and the first day, and it was sad to see that all this work that these students were able to do. But we're like, okay, if that's what we got, 5 students, we're gonna continue. We're gonna continue with the classes. We had Sammy Flores teach a workshop on scholarships. We had another student teach about identity, another student on culture, on do you know your indigenous tribes? Do you know your indigenous clothings? So we had that student create their types of clothing using paper and tape and other materials. And it was amazing what these students were able to create with whatever they had, and Google and figure out the language that they speak, what type of clothing, and we had them describe it. Something interesting was, as well, is that we had some of the students write out, who are you? ¿Quién soy? ¿Quién somos? Who am I? Who are we? And none of the students, besides the Thurston students, were able to write out who they were. Some students, their paper was blank throughout the whole workshop. And then we did it again the second day, and they were able to add a little bit more pieces. But every single day that the program continued, we ended up getting more students until we reached 26 students. And it was amazing to see that. It was my first time, and it was the first time that these students ever done this before. And we were competing against other programs in the summer as well. So it was amazing to see these students chose to come. We didn't force them to come. And it was really hard to do, because once a lot of these students were wanting to come, and since their parents worked all the time, I have a 4-passenger vehicle where I would have to wake up at 5 in the morning, going to their home, and then going to the University of Oregon, going to another home, coming back, and then officially starting at 9 o'clock. There were even times when I would have some of the students just start the classes while I'm picking up students as well. I would try to figure out what type of food that they wanted, and making sure that they weren't allergic to most of the food. So a lot of the time we just ate at the university. But yeah, and then throughout that summer program, a lot of the students ended up loving each other and loving that family, and wanting more. Now that they have the seed, they want to be able to water it throughout this next time. And I didn't want to do what summer programs normally do, is you learn, you build a family, and then you're left hanging for a whole entire year. So the students and I wanted to build something where we could continue to have these students coming and communicating with each other, and tracking their grades, and trying to find the best way that we could be able to help them. So after the summer program ended, the students got invited to create a mural outside of what is currently my work. Before I worked there, Community Alliance of Lane County, and they built a beautiful mural with Black Lives Matter, as well as pieces of themselves that they were able to put on there. And it was great. After that, the students still had that feeling of, it's over, it's done. What else are we going to be able to do? How can we keep this family together? So we built Citywide Mecha. And the students, we had the problem of where are we going to go? Where are we going to continue to do this? Now we have Churchill students. Now we have Willamette students. Now we have all these other students. We need a place to go. And I get contacted by Dale, which is one of the chairholders of the Church of Brethren. And they saw like the vision of what I wanted to have, tutors to be able to teach these students, to help them with their homework, do scholarship workshops, which we did in the beginning, teach ethnic studies, bring different community members to be able to come in and become part of our family. And it was great. It was great how we were able to do that at first and continue to have it. And having the students to learn basic organizing skills in the summer and be able to take it, and pass it to other students. So that's how Citywide was built. So once the space is demolished, I feel like I'm at limbo. It has been a rough journey continuing to have the program stay alive. And I feel like I'm not ready to give it up, but I feel like I'm ready to pass it on to someone else. I'm still a student, and I want to be able to pursue my education, then be able to come back and be able to help these students as well and watch them grow. But I am scared. I am scared to see this program die, and this whole year of what we've been battling to keep alive, and seeing the confidence that these students were able to build within themselves is amazing. And I'm scared that when the space does get demolished, that they're gonna lose that confidence. That's the fear of, and I know a lot of these students come in here with abandonment issues as well. Of like, why did you come into my life just to leave me? And I feel like that's a piece that is gonna be a little bit hard, and as well as for myself, that's something that I personally suffer with as well. And I don't want to do that to these students. So once this space does get demolished, I am going to be trying to find a different location. And if we are unable to find a different location, then we got to minimize the program and figure out some ways that we could be able to better help these students. But I do see it continuing to grow because we have been growing. We did reach a great limit, which was 30 students, and now we declined a little bit. But just like any program, we fluctuate. I do hope that these students are able to take something with them throughout this journey, and the friendships that they were able to keep to continue to have that and hold each other accountable, whether it has to be with grades or if they're doing acts that don't seem right, to be able to check one another. It's like, hey, carnal or carnala, compañera, compañero, you're messing up. You gotta get your stuff together. So I hope that continues, and I hope whatever we were able to build, that they're able to take it on to the next year and the next year. And hopefully by the time that they are ready to go to college, that they have that and have an idea of what they want to be able to do and what they want to be able to give back to the community. And hopefully maybe in 5 or 6 years from now, once these students graduate, not only from high school but from college, are able to start something like this up again. And whether it's in Eugene or in Springfield. And I did take a risk by getting Eugene students. Every elder who I have spoken with, have told me, focus in Springfield. Focus on your students on Springfield and Thurston and Gateways, because Springfield has been overlooked. And it's true, it has been overlooked. You have amazing students that carry amazing gems inside of them, but a lot of people just write off. Eugene, there are a lot of programs out there for students. And whether some students are afraid to take that leap, and just like in Springfield for a lot of us, and like I said, speaking for myself, I felt like there was nothing out here for me. I felt like there's positions out here that don't look like me, then maybe I can't reach those goals. So my goal is for these students to be able to take on these leadership positions within the city. I know there's a couple students that as soon as they turn 18, they want to be able to run for city council in 2020, and that's amazing to hear. Because how many times do you hear that from students that, oh, I want to run for city council? You don't hear that often, and that's something that that is amazing, something that I carry with me, and that esperanza, that hope that once I leave my community for whether college or wherever, that when I come back, I see these leaders holding up these positions, seeing these students of what they were able to become, and and the legacy of what they're able to do, and change that narrative. I would love to see him come back and have the first Latino or Latina city council person. That would be amazing to see for our community. That would be amazing to see all these students graduate. This is the first year since last year. Last year we didn't have any students go to college. This year we have 6 students from from Thurston, going to a 4-year university. 4 of them are going to a 4-year university. One is going to Lane Community College, and another student's going to the Navy. That's amazing. That's still amazing to see that, some of these students didn't even think about college before. And so that's the legacy that I want to be able to leave within Citywide Mecha, that these students are fighting for themselves and are fighting for their future and are fighting for the next generation that's gonna come after them, to be able to change that story. Within my family, I was privileged enough to be able to be the first one in my family to graduate college. I was to get some type of degree. I was the second one in my family to get a high school diploma. And unfortunately, my family, as of right now, we skipped a couple generations when we didn't keep that up. And then this year, my cousin's gonna be the third one in my family to graduate from high school, and that's what I want to be able to see with these students, to keep that chain alive and keep that pattern up, and that they're gonna graduate not only from high school but go to college. And for the ones that don't want to go to college, at least doing something that they feel like they have a purpose. That they're not just doing a job that they hate, or working 9 to 5 just trying to survive. That they're doing something that they're able to feel passionate about, something that they're able to give back and show that their younger siblings or their family that we did it. Because I know a lot of families sacrificed a lot. My parents were migrant workers who worked a whole bunch of hours in different jobs, where we weren't able to see our parents. And it's hard because a lot of the time I missed out on a lot of those memories that I wish I had, of having that kitchen table of my family. And sometimes it's really nice to see with these students when we're able to sit down and eat together and talk. Those are the memories that I'm going to be able to take with me once the program is gone, of that family that we were able to build, that truth and that honesty that we were able to have within each other. And hopefully these students are able to carry on with them after the program leaves and continue to stay humble.